Thank you for joining me. My name is Benis Abubedu. Now, the minority in Parliament has called on the Energy Minister, Boachi Ejakun, to submit to Parliament for ratification details of the signed 5-year agreement with Equatorial Guinea for the supply of liquefied natural gas to Ghana. The ranking member for the Mines and Energy Committee, Adam Mutawakilu, at a media briefing a while ago said the minister must also outline measures government intends to put in place to meet the December deadline.
I listened to the minister in his media interaction, and he indicated clearly that about 150 to 200 million standard cubic feet of gas will be supplied for power generation by the end of December. And after listening to him, there were a few questions that we need to put to him, and we'll expect his response in respect to that. First and foremost is that it is an international transaction, and per the Supreme Court ruling, it should be brought to Parliament for ratification. In that, we'll be able to know the terms and conditions of the agreement. That is the number one. Number two, LNG supply is not like laying gas from Nigeria, where it straight away goes to the generating plant. In LNG, you look at transportation, you look at the regasification unit. We want to find out from the minister whether already we have a regasification unit, whereby come December, we'll be able to regasificate the gas and supply it to the needed plant for power generation. As far as we are concerned, we know that the previous government signed an agreement with West Africa Gas Limited. Also, GMPC is undertaking an LNG project, and this year we approved an amount of $21.25 million to continue with the construction. And there were no indications from any of them that by December, they will be done with the regasification unit for it to regasify. The third one is who will be the off-taker of the gas. We need the off-taker. And the final one is what will be the cost to the consumer? Because LNG gas is not just cheap. He made a general statement in his statement that in the press that LNG gas is less expensive than liquefied LCO, light crude oil. It is not always the case. As we speak today, light crude oil is far cheaper than LNG because light crude oil depends on the well market price. And the well market price of oil is very low now, below 50, and therefore makes it cheaper. And this even has affected our consumption in July, as I will say, because most of the businesses now prefer to use generators to consuming our electricity because it's cheaper. So they prefer to buy fuel.
Away from that, the WA police have in their custody 3 Burkinabés who are Fulani extraction and MSN who have been on their list for several years. Adams Seydou Gona alias Lalas, together with 2 convicts who are serving various sentences at prisons, last June robbed 2 residents of WA at gunpoint and made away with a 65-inch Samsung flat-screen television. Now, they were arrested by the WA police upon a tip-off. 3 other Burkinabés were also arrested for allegedly robbing a guest house in WA. Joy News' Upper West correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from WA.
According to the Upper West Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Police Service, ASP Joy Afagbaji, the suspects number 4 were arrested for 2 alleged robbery incidents in the WA municipality of the Upper West region. They are 32-year-old Fusini Al-Hassan, 34-year-old Dauda Musa, 26-year-old Donte Bonali, all of Fulani extraction and from neighboring Burkina Faso. Also arrested is Adam Seydou Gona, alias Lalas, who is believed to be the mastermind of several robbery and motor theft syndicates in the region and has been on the wanted list of the police for several years.
Investigations disclosed that the first three suspects, together with one accomplice at large, a native of Wa, on 15/8/17 attacked Pet Vetro Guest House and robbed the occupants of their laptops, mobile phones, and unspecified sums of money. They also robbed a Ghana Customs officer of his sidearms. Items found on suspects are a double-barrel gun, a wire cutter, a pinch, and a hammer. Further search conducted on their hideout revealed 2 black Apsonic motorbikes suspected to have been stolen.
Other items found included toolbox, tea kettle, curtains, satellite discs and decoder, mobile phones, and subcutlasses. The rest are 22-inch flat screen television, talisman, press iron, woofer sound system, and locally manufactured pistol.
Further police investigations disclosed that on 24/03/17 and 30/06/2017 respectively, suspect Adam Seidu Gona, alias Lalas, with 2 convicts, Seidu Idrisu Haruna and Ibrahim Sumaila Barry, 7 various times, robbed 2 suspects of Wa, 2 residents of Wa at gunpoint, and made away with a 65-inch Samsung flat screen TV. A search on his hideout or on their hideout revealed the flat screen and a locally manufactured pistol. Suspects will be arraigned before court. The Regional Police Command would take this opportunity to entreat the general public to be forthcoming with information, since policing is now a shared responsibility.
Reporting for Joy News, Rafik Salam. Wa.
The case of Indian businessman Ashok Sivram's application for a visa has grown more interesting as the Ghana Immigration Service and Attorney General's Department today contradicted each other in an Accra High Court. Now, when he took the stand earlier today, Comptroller General of the Immigration Service, Kwame Esiatechi, told the court the businessman appeared before the service on August 8 for regularization of his visa as ordered by the court. The Attorney General's representative had earlier denied this, though counsel for Mr. Sivram, Gary Nemako, insisted otherwise. Joy News' Joseph Akable is in court for us and joins us with details. Joseph can't join us now. We'll reach him shortly and bring you details later. Well, I hear we have him now. Hello, Joseph.
Yes, hello, Bennett.
Yeah, Joseph, so how significant is this admission by Mr. Esiatechi to this case?
It's significant in the sense that, the main issue that is up for determination is why the Immigration Service has failed to regularize his stay, as was ordered by the court earlier in the month of August. The order was that he should submit himself to the Ghana Immigration Service in order to ensure that he goes through the process to make his stay in the country permanent. Now, that application was made. His fee was not accepted by the officers of the Ghana Immigration Service. So the Attorney General's Department was supposed to explain why that was not accepted and why that permit has not been granted to him. But the lawyer came into the court that the Indian businessman had failed to show up at the office of the Ghana Immigration Service. That is why that permit had not been granted. This was challenged by Gary Nimakuma, who insisted that they had appeared 3 times on the August 8th date that was fixed by Justice Akam, who gave that landmark judgment directing the Ghana Immigration Service to restore his stay in the country legally. So that was the issue with that one. But when Kwame Techi was sworn in and mounted the witness box, he told the court that indeed the gentleman did appear before the Ghana Service. So what it means is that he did avail himself before the service to enable his stay be regularized. But Justice Azu has ordered that the Ghana Immigration Service gives him a temporary residence permit pending the determination of the substantive matters to whether his stay in the country should be made permanent or not.
So apart from what you've mentioned, what else happened in court today, Joseph?
So the other issues that came up had to do with the businessman telling the court through his lawyers that indeed his colleague businessman who had told him that he wanted out of their business, they owned a telecommunication company. He said that his colleague had threatened him that the gentlemen who have the power to deport you from the country, I have them in my pocket, for which reason I will ensure that you are deported. They told the court that within 10 days after that threat was handed a businessman, he was therefore deported from the country, for which reason they have since been challenging the entire that is be made permanent. They have been arguing that he employs as many as 190 people in the country, and that is very important. He has business interests in the country, and they want his stay made permanent. So those are the issues that the court will be looking at once they come back on September 8th. The AG's department have already served notice that they are opposed to that request and directed at them to make his stay in the country permanent. So we'll also be listening to them as to the reasons why they think the businessman should not be allowed to stay in the country, which was his former position before he was illegally deported, as has been held by the court a month ago.
Thank you very much, Joseph Akablay, for the updates on this particular case. Stay with us here on the Joy News channel. We'll bring you more on this. Now, Cape Coast has been painted red, white and blue as final preparations for the new patriotic party NPP's National Delegates Conference takes place. Now, reports say almost all hotels and guest houses in the region are fully booked as more than 5,000 delegates and hundreds of party officials begin to converge in the central region capital. 1,250 police officers are also on the ground to keep the peace. We now take you to the central region where Joy News' Richard Kojonyako has been speaking with Samia Wuku, NPP National Youth Organizer.
We are live here at the event venue, the University of Cape Coast New Examination Center. We've got the National Youth Organizer of the NPP, Mr. Samia Wuku. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Well, tell us about the preparations, how you are prepping up towards the national conference.
As you can see, we are putting finishing touches to the various operational activities. Again, we are also ensuring that everything is in place for a smooth program. It hasn't been easy putting logistics together for over 6,000 people, their accommodation, their feeding, their certain arrangement, and all that. But we are doing our bit, and I can confidently tell you that things are in place. I'm just on my way together with other national officers to meet the security detail, to also debrief them, and for them to also debrief us on arrangements of what is what, who is doing what, and what must take place.
I'm told that this is the highest decision-making body of the party.
Right.
Tell us, what people should expect from the NPP after this conference.
Well, first of all, this is done annually. The NPP is run by two committees, one council, one conference. At the management level, it's run at the national level by the steering committee. Then you have the National Executive Committee. Then you have the National Council, which is the second highest decision-making body. Then you have the National Delegate Conference, which is the highest. And what happens, they deliberate on issues affecting the party, events that have taken place within the past 12 months or less, and also to fashion out a strategy for the way forward. And so far, that is what takes place.
You are the mouthpiece of the youth. In terms of this conference, some resolutions would be adopted and all of that one. Will it inure to the benefits of the youth in this country?
Well, I'm confident. Basically, the National Delegate Conference is also made up of youth as well, because youth organizers are also part of it, and other youthful executives. And we take decisions that are always in the best interest of the party and country. And it's expected that various resolutions that will be considered are resolutions that will help make things better for the youth.
Some people were growing impatient. That the 6 months, 7 months you've been in power, and people were thinking that overnight they should be getting jobs as promised and all of those things. What are you telling them?
President Akufo-Addo and the team NPP are doing their best invest to resolve the numerous unemployment challenges we have in our country. They fashion out various programs of this one district, one factory that will also create jobs for our youth. Today, we are launching it at a confi. We have the planting for food and jobs. We've ensured that the NEIP, which is headed by John Kuma, has a seed money now to also help startups and entrepreneurs. Maslock and Venture Capital Fund are all being strengthened. And the Youth Employment Agency has been strategically positioned and resourced to also recruit and employ in excess of over 80,000 this year. So I believe that we are in the process. Some have started, some are also yet to happen. We also have free SHS, which has feeding component, another component of food that will also help create jobs along the chain. So far it looks good, but I can understand the impatience that you're talking about. Things are bad, things are worse that we came to meet, but we are determined to help fix it, and I know that fixing it will also take time. But President Akufo-Addo himself is determined to help resolve it. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. All right. I've got here the acting National Communications Director, Mr. Yao Admakubefi, with me to speak with me.
We are being in power just 6 months. The few things that we've done, at least if not anything at all, the stability in the energy sector, the lighting system, everything is okay now, and people can even point to that effect. You go to the National Health Insurance. You see, when we came, the whole agency has been engulfed in debt, and as we speak now, we have paid about 8 months for the providers, service providers. If you go to the nursing trade, those who completed nursing, since 2012 they were not being employed. NPP has done so well that we have virtually cleared them because the financial clearance has been issued, and the lion's of them have been employed. You go to the students who completed agri school, the same thing problem was there. But fortunately, we have employed majority of them. There are of course a lot of debt that you are also trying to clear, so that at least when you are settled, fed from next year, next 2 years, next 3 years, Ghanaians are going to be the right people to give the right testimony about our achievements.
So you are prevailing upon the people or the supporters of the NPP.
Now, Richard Kojo-Nyako also spoke to some people who are making some money from this conference.
Businesses are cashing in on the NPP National Delegate Conference that is being organized on the campuses of the University of Cape Coast. Just a few meters away from the event venue, there are the sales of NPP paraphernalia, and people have started patronizing them. I've got some of the people that are patrons of these paraphernalia. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
What's your name?
I'm Anafu Joseph.
So where are you coming from?
I'm coming from Bolga.
Wow. When did you arrive here?
Yesterday.
So where did you sleep?
I slept in the guest house at over there. In fact, I don't know the place.
You didn't have problems with accommodation?
Not at all.
All right. So this morning, I mean, what is going on?
Well, we are just trying to see how the preparation is going on, so that at least we can settle well for the program.
You are not in your NPP attire, and I can see that you are standing by where they sell some of these attires.
Yeah.
I mean, are you coming to buy some?
Yeah, I came to buy flag, maybe T-shirt and other things. Yeah.
What are your expectations towards this conference?
Oh, very, very, very good. So far, I think everything is positive. We are just trying to see probably if there are amendments to our constitution and other things that will move the party forward.
What would you be looking forward to? I mean, an amendment that is on your heart?
Well, I think the thing that is really bothering some of us is the election of the DCs. I think that at least if there's anything they can do about it, the better. I don't like it at all. I don't like it. I don't support it.
Where are you coming from?
I'm coming from Accra.
Accra?
Yeah.
When did you come?
I came this morning.
Wow. So what specifically are you selling?
We are selling how they call the Vuvuzela or whatever. That was the main purpose why we came. And we strongly believe that since Nana Dodankwa so far so good, his government has been, we strongly believe that market will really boom today and tomorrow as well. Things about doing his
the sale
now. No, we just came in, so we expect the good luck to give us a good boom sale, as you said.
All right. right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So you expect that by the end of the conference, I mean, a lot of these things would have been sold?
I believe it, because MPP, you know, the president, His Excellency won the election by over 53%. So I strongly believe that, and out of that, there are about almost 2,000 delegates coming in and supporters as well. So we strongly believe that at least we brought about 2,000 horns here. So we knew that by the end of Sunday or even Saturday, if God willing, we'd be able to sell about maybe 3/3 of our item that we brought.
In this woman who is selling MPP flags, MPP hats, and other things. Memoachi.
Yeah.
Nampacha pom design.
Pacho nyame adom ye pa.
Na hemfa na ofri.
Pacho mfi Kumase.
Kumase to no abahasi.
Pacho ai.
Eden na do abaha.
Pacho program ye be nti na maba.
Enti o expect so de niam bebre ba.
Am de ma bebre ba, me de t-shirt, me de frag, me de bibia mofra. Bibia, me de bibia ba. Eche. Aha.
Now we expect say business be ko say.
Oh nyame adom ye free hanko no. Ye fa bi nko, ni nyina abesa.
Na da ben na wo sha say wo she dwa we.
Pacho anope ya na me she. Ai.
Ti niam akọ kama kama.
Oh nyame adom e kwa kakra. Na me nti ye free hanko na asa. Ye fa bi nko.
Okay, so we just finished speaking with this woman, and she is in charge of the sales of these MPP muffler and other paraphernalia, and she is essentially saying that she came from Kumasi and she set up this business, and she's confident that by the end of the conference, I mean, sales will be up, everything will be fine for her business, and so that is currently what is going on here.
And here on the Joy News channel, you can expect everything you need to know about that Delegates Conference, because we'll be bringing you a lot more in subsequent bulletins. Now, the Ghana Immigration Service has cautioned against traveling to Togo. Joy News can report some residents in that country have relocated to Ghana. A government communication to citizens on Thursday reads, there are a lot of messages around on social media about Togo Mod Black Friday, this 25th August 2017, but government wishes to remind all citizens of Togo that there's nothing like Black Friday. So the 25th of August remains an ordinary day. Therefore, people can go to work and undertake their normal daily activities. Joy News' Ivy Setaji has been to the area today and joins us with an update. Hello, Ivy.
Hello, Bennett. Good
afternoon. So what is the effect of this Togo situation on nearby communities like Aveme and Denu?
Well, the name is Aveme. Anyway, now the issue here is business is low. People are not crossing to Togo as it used to be because of the issue of demonstration. Many people heard they were going to demonstrate today, so a lot of people are scared of crossing, especially those from Ghana crossing to Togo. So the effect is the business at the border is very, very slow.
So apart from a business, we have some news that residents in Togo have crossed over into Ghana. Have you been speaking to any of them, and what have they been telling you?
Well, these people are not ready to speak with anyone, especially the media. Some of them are fleeing under the guise of attending church services or church programs in Ghana. You know, at this time, is the time for programs like conventions, National Youth Anthem, other programs. So some of them are fleeing under the guise of attending these church services. But some of them were also, so those people were prevented from entering Ghana by the immigration because the immigration do not believe what they were saying. The movement around the border at that time made the immigration to prevent these people from crossing to Ghana. And now most taxis are also off the road, but some Okada people or the Okada riders are still moving around the street. A few stores are also open, especially those of the Lebanese.
All right, but what's the mood generally in Togo? What are we picking up?
Well, the situation is calm. The place is quiet, very calm. You wouldn't see a lot of security around right now, like used to be. Because right now, we understand some delegation from the national security are meeting with the leaders of the protest, those organizing the demonstration currently in Togo. So for now, in Togo, everywhere is calm. People are just looking around. Some few people are going about their normal businesses, while some are just sitting down, looking at what is going on and hoping that everything is okay.
Finally, Ivy, what are some of the beats you find people using to come into Ghana?
Well, some people are using other beats like beat 9. Many people are now using that beat now, and some other routes that many people use to cross to Ghana or to go to Togo. These are some of the places they are using for now, especially the beat 9.
Well, thank you very much, Ivy Setaji. She'll be following that story keenly, and expect more on this in our subsequent bulletins. You're welcome. We'll take a quick breather. We'll be back with more. Please stay. Thank you for staying here on Joy News today. Defeated parliamentary candidate for the Wejagbawe constituency in the 2016 election, Obobia Daku Opoku says her loss in the 2016 and 2012 elections was partly because of the betrayal of people she considered as friends. Speaking on News Desk, she revealed there were people who presented themselves as being in her favor only to turn their backs on her. The candidate therefore advised the upcoming youth to be careful of what they disclose to the people closest to them.
Everybody who knows that I have had issues even with the people I worked with, who were supposed to be people who support me directly. But these are some of the people who come to you when they need something and you could kill yourself just to get it for them. And they're the ones that take those things from you and go out there to tell people not to vote for you. So I'm just saying that if you buy a meal today and you have a friend in the Joy newsroom, if that person is not that close to you, can the person just walk to you and take the meat on your food? No. So the people who are closer to you are the ones who hurt you. The ones who are not close to you cannot hurt you. So every single time that you go through these issues, you need to be careful about the people around you. People come with all sort of goodies, with all sort of beautiful faces, handsome faces and all, just to come and tell you that they want to help you. But what they actually want to do is to come close to you so that they can hurt you. So we should be careful about the people we call friends, the people we call colleagues. There are some people who simply get good news and they can't wait to tell their best friend. They can't wait to tell the next person just for the person to share in their joy. But that person simply cannot celebrate your success. So the moment he or she gets that information, moves it on, turns it around, by the time you realize everything has crashed.
Well, she, however, has no regrets entering politics even after suffering 2 defeats.
About politics, it's about the experience so that you can use it to impact on others. So if you ask me, I'll tell you that I believe that I went into it to see exactly what happens there, so that at the end of the day, people can use me as an example, so that at the end of the day, I'll have a story to tell that will change somebody's perception, mindset about politics. So I'm saying that politics and failing to win an election does not change me. It makes me stronger. Everybody who has also known me from 2012 till now knows that I've become a better person. So at the end of the day, it actually did not do any damage to me for one side. The only thing that I didn't get is to walk into parliament as a parliamentarian.
Now, government chief pathologist in Sierra Leone, Dr. Simeon Owis Koroma, manages the Connaught Hospital where all the bodies were kept before the mass burial after the mass slides. Now, he's been speaking to Kojo Youngson on how they were able to handle the many bodies that were brought to the facility when the mass slide occurred. He also shared his experience as the only pathologist in the West African country.
It was very stressful, very disturbing. Say Sierra Leonean, this is the first time I'm coping with such a disaster. So the scale, the quantum, and the speed at which the bodies were being brought here. And you know, there are phases: recovery phase, collection here, separation, examination, and documentation. I was able, I don't know where the energy came from. Well, I'm well trained in this business. So with my volunteers and my doctors, management here motivated me, and I was able to cope. As you can see, no smell, no corpse, all were buried.
How many did you receive on that first day?
On the first day, I received up to 338, to be very specific. I'm very meticulous with figures. I was able the next day to separate and, of course, quickly buried the completely dismembered corpses. You have to do that because we do not have the facilities to keep for further examination or this. So the separation was very difficult. You can see space very small, and we piled them all over this place, and I was able to separate with my workers here, my attendants, the kids, because it was at night this thing happened. So many kids died. They were fast asleep, the rush of water and this. So plenty of dismembered bodies, collected those, males, females, and there's the adults first and then the kids. So among that pile of dismembered bodies, I was able also to separate them gender-wise. So we buried those the very night, 139, all documented, as you can see, and we're happy with that. And they kept on trickling. And by the next day, there are so many, the total figure by me, those that I've examined, those that I saw, collected, separated, and documented were 497.
As of today?
As of today, yes, 497.
Were there more children or more men?
Yes, more children, and then followed by more adult males, and then the females. But totally there was male preponderance. Why is that? I don't know. Both in children and the adults.
Tell us, are people still coming in trying to identify bodies here?
Yes, they come in as per recovery. But all the identified bodies now buried, this is a pile for them. And they were buried by their relatives. But the majority were buried at Waterloo, Bolima Cemetery in Waterloo.
Our team was given a tour of the Connaught morgue. Viewer discretion is advised as visuals may be worrying to sensitive viewers.
The Tuesday morning, we removed all of them outside here. All of them were here from this part onto the gate over there and over this other side of the building.
We're currently outside in the courtyard and we're being shown not a very big area, perhaps big enough to park about 6 vehicles. And this is literally where all the bodies were put when they became a little too much for this facility. So tell us, even though you've been doing this for many years, when you saw that many bodies, there must have been a moment when you were quite affected by it.
Yes, I was really devastated because ever since in my life, I never saw this kind of disaster in my country, Sierra Leone. So I was really devastated, and the very first day when we started to do the burial, I shed tears because it was really pathetic. Over hundreds of lives gone in one day. It was really pathetic. So, I mean, it was not easy anyway. It was not easy.
Did you know anybody who was caught in this tragedy?
Well, I did not know anybody because they are human beings. because they are human beings. So, I mean, I have that humanitarian feelings for them.
This whole city is made up of hills and mountains. Are you worried that this could happen again?
Well, I'm still worried because some people are still living in the area, so we don't know what will be the next. So my advice to them is that if they have another location, let them be relocated, so to avoid that disaster again.
We spoke to your pathologist. He's the only pathologist for 7.5 million people in this city. Do you sometimes find that you are short-staffed?
Yeah. We are really short-staffed because he's the only pathologist. He has done very, very, very well. He has done very well. On that day, he was up and down, try to see that everything goes on well.
That's our team coming to us from Sierra Leone there.